Hey y'all, welcome to the Filling Station. It's been an interesting day in the market. Let me first give my disclaimer. I am not a financial advisor. I just enjoy teaching people how to build generational wealth. And yes, the stock market is just one of those avenues. So this video is for educational purposes only. With that being said, let's get started. So we're going to do a market recap, y'all, because it has been an interesting day. So SPY, early morning, we had this nice sell-off. Again, I like to look at the 30-minute chart, right? So we broke through several layers of support, and this was all at pre-market, 7:30 in the morning. This is our 7:30 candle. So it seems as if, we got under that 592. We broke under 591.57. Again at 590.89, 590.16, only to come down here to find support around the 588.92. So when we did that, which was interesting, right? This is our 8:30 candle. Guess what? It wasn't finished then. So we've come off of a high from 593.61. At this point, we're down to the low of this candle is 586.91. That's a nice decline, right? So right here is where we found a gathering spot. Looking at it again on this 30-minute chart, this is where price start gathering in this area here, only for bell to ring. Market opens here at the 9:30 candle, only to come down. We bounced off of this 595.29, which is right at an area where we were going to fill a gap, which we've closed most of that. So I brought that a little bit, so we can see that here. Now, what's interesting is looking at it on this 30-minute chart. SPY gave us a double bottom here on a 30-minute chart. We had a nice decline. Let me get out of this view so we can see, right? So we had a nice decline coming, again, 30-minute chart here. Coming down, we had a nice decline only to give us a double bottom here. Found support right at this level of 584.67, which we had that marked. It came down to 584.41, bounced, but look at where the body of those candles are. So if you were to enter the trade based on this 30-minute chart, this double bottom was a signal, possible reversal here, right? So again, I like to look at my 5-minute chart. And we'll look at that in just a moment, but I wanted to show you how on this 30-minute, I like for my charts to say the exact same thing, meaning what I see on my 30-minute, I would hope to see, some type of confirmation on the 5-minute and on the 2-minute, so everything is saying the same thing versus I'm getting a different signal or confusing signal, because if it's like that, I really don't like to enter the trade. So again, looking at it on this 30-minute chart, we have a double bottom here. We are making higher highs. We broke through this ATR trailing stop only to continue climbing. So if by chance you got in off of this bottom around the 584.41, 585.29 area, if you entered here and even sold here at the 12:30 candle, the high of this candle was 591.47, that would have been a nice trade from the bottom up to the top. And again, looking at it on this 30-minute chart, it consolidated for a while. Let's say from 12:30 all the way till about 3 o'clock, we had just some sideways action. What was interesting is, 591.57 area, we had the wicks up here tells me that, okay, that's where our sellers are, so we need to be careful in this area. And it seemed like it just struggled, to get above this level of 591.57. So if by chance you were able to take the trade back to the downside at the end of the day, again, this is our 3 o'clock candle, we start selling off. And, we came down, found support here at 588.30, which we have that marked, 588.13, excuse me, and we came under that. We're under the 5 EMA. So SPY is interesting. It's at an interesting place, right? So I'm going to go, this is the 5-minute chart. So looking at the SPY on this 5-minute chart, it looks a little congested. So we'll see. Again, when I was saying that I like to see the 5-minute and the 30-minute saying the exact same thing, we saw on the 30-minute chart that there was a double bottom, and looking at it on this 5-minute chart, we see a double bottom. So I'm going to go to the 30-minute just really quick, just to see what time that was. So it was around 10 o'clock and 10:30. So let's go to the 5-minute just to see should be close to the 10 o'clock. Yes, between 10:20 and 10:25, we had a double bottom. So that's confirmation to me that, 5 minute, 30 minute is kind of saying the exact same thing. I like to see that especially when I'm about to enter a trade, right? So looking at it from this perspective, we have a double bottom. We're making higher highs. My MACD is beginning to separate here. So entering this trade to the upside would have been okay for me to enter based on, I like to see multiple confirmations as to why I'm entering. Let me say it that way, right? So again, double bottom, higher highs, MACD's fanned out. I like to see that we're moving up. And what's interesting is when I see all of these wicks here. So we had this nice decline, right? And then only to stair step its way, because if you look at it on a line chart, we see the zigzag line really, really clear that, it made its way up. And the interesting thing is, we're above the 5 EMA. I like to see that, especially if I'm on the upside of the trade. So I had a double bottom here, a confirmation of the MACD separating. I like to see that. Making higher highs. I'm above the 5 EMA. I had so many confirmations as to it's okay to enter this trade to the upside. Now, would I have stayed in this gathering area? Probably not, because if I got in at this bottom here from the 5, let's say I waited to get in around the 585.29 area all the way up to the high of this candle, 591.47. If I would have entered the trade here, exited the trade here, that would have been a nice, profit from the bottom to the top. So that's something to be mindful of when you go into the trade, being grateful and not greedy, because sometimes if you overstay your welcome, you could lose a lot of profit, right? So again, the SPY start moving sideways, and we saw that on the 30-minute chart, just creating a gathering spot for us. And what's interesting is we got this 590.89. It seemed like it tried to push back to the upside, and psychologically we probably would have thought, okay, we had this nice decline that's probably going to go back up to the 593, 594 area. And looking at it, it could have, right? But at some point it was going to run out of steam, and that's exactly where it was, right here at the 591.57 area. That was our high, only to come back to this 590.89. We stayed in this gathering spot, so came down just a little bit, and this was our support area in this zone here. So that 590.16 is a gathering spot that SPY traded in for a while this afternoon. So now what I would have been looking for to enter this trade back to the downside is right here. My 5 and 50 is crossing. That was the nice candle right here, but look what the MACD was doing. It started separating, so that's another confirmation. Is that a double top right here on this 30-minute chart? So that would have been another confirmation, to enter to the downside of the trade based on the double top here. My MACD is separating here. This candle here is really, really nice. 5 and 50 has crossed here. So I have like 3 confirmations. So it's okay. Now I've broken out of this little gathering spot here to come back to the downside. Now, what's interesting here is that, we found support here around the 589.43. We've tested that. We've here, and, the 589.43 area. We've been at this place. Look where the price is here. We have been here. So if I draw a price line there, let's see if I can do that without, if I draw a line, well, that's not going to work. So if I draw a price line here around the 543, we can see that the body of the candles are here. The wick of the candle is here, body of the candle and wick is here. So that's an area I definitely need to pay attention to, because for some reason price has stopped in this area and it's held us there for a while. So it found support here, moved back to the upside. However, we did not get back above this 590.89, which was a resistance area for us. We broke through just a little bit of this 590.16 area, but you see price came back under that level, which is interesting. We need to pay very close attention to this gathering spot here, because there's a strong possibility we're going to be back at that place again. So this candle here was a really good trade from this sell-off right here. Is what I like to call a sell-off, because the high of this candle was 589.90. The low of this candle was 588.07. So that was a nice end of the day trade. I like to, see if I can go in and get some scalp moves, not pay a whole lot for them, and make a decent profit. Always look for those towards the afternoon. So again, this is the SPY It sold off here only to create a gathering spot here, which is where the ORB high, the thick green lines are. So as of now, this is our support area for the SPY. I would say around the 587.67. 587.67, and as you can see, that's where the body of these candles are here, around the 587.64 area. So I would definitely keep that in mind if I traded the SPY or anything else. Let's see, I got it right now. So I'm going to draw a price line here only because I want it to be visible so that you can see that that is where the body of the candles are here, body, body, and the wick test this line, but this is our zone as of right now that SPY was trading in. So I definitely need to remember this area because there's a strong possibility that I'm going to be back at that place again, as with this area up here that I wanted to point out earlier. Right here, the body of the candles are here, and you see price is right here at this place. We've been at this place, so I need to remember that area also for the SPY, because going back to the upside, it's a strong possibility. I'm gonna zoom back out. Going back to the upside, that's going to be a place that I'm going to get rejected at some point. So I would definitely mark that on my chart. So SPY was an interesting trade today based on the sell-off that we had, found support, got back in, nice move back to the upside, created a gathering spot for us and gave us another signal, for a nice trade towards the afternoon. So if you traded the SPY today, I say congratulations, y'all. Today was a very, very good trading day. We are now looking at Tesla. Tesla is one of my favorites. I always say Tesla does what Tesla does. I like to start on the 30-minute chart. So this is, let's see, today, that was for, okay, we are here with Tesla. Tesla created a gathering spot for us right here. Pre-market, there was a gathering spot only to get this little decline here, went sideways again only to come down again, and it tried to go back to the upside here only to go sideways again to come back to the downside again. So that's interesting with Tesla. I have this 412 mark because in my opinion that was a strong support area, so I need to watch Tesla in that area. So I wanted to point out with Tesla, this again is the 30-minute chart. Look how price is just trading in this gathering spot here, and we have that marked based on being, I mark pre-market. I do the gathering spot, or what people would say consolidation areas. So I try to mark those, the high and the low of that, and I kind of gray it out, because the shaded out area, because at some point it's going to come back to that. And if it's something that I trade every day, I need to definitely know where my trouble places are. So that's why you see that here. Tesla traded in this zone here at the 419.71 up to the 422.22, where we broke out of that only to go to our next zone, or our next gathering spot, which is around that 422.22 area, to the 425.39. We traded in this area. Towards the end of the day, again, we did sell off, and then we are still declining. So I'm going to go to the 5-minute chart for Tesla. As of now, I would have, looking at it from a different view, because the market is not open, right? So Tesla, look, we came down here pre-market. Looks like it tried to come to this bounce here, and it says 427 was our ORB high, which was the first 15 minutes of the day. That is our high for the day. So it gave us a signal. It got rejected there. There's a double top here again on this 5-minute chart. In my opinion, I'm looking at the body of the candles here. So Tesla gave us a signal that it was trying to come back to the downside. Well, look what the MACD did. It gave us a cross here. I like to see those, right? So I have two confirmations if I was to enter this trade to the downside based on the double top and the MACD crossing. My 5 and 50 is what I like to see, but because there was such a strong pivot with this, I like to say pivot because of how the blue line here is. I'm gonna see if I can make it a little bit bigger. The blue line here is my 5 EMA. Normally I like to see those cross either to the upside or to the downside. Well, it looks as if, it gave us a little pivot that it was getting ready to come back to the downside. Again, there's our double top here. We come down under the VWAP, we've come down, bounced off of this, tried to go back up only to get rejected and continued to the decline, to the downside. So Tesla was interesting. If you traded that today, to as far as getting in and out, I would have liked to buy it off this top here and trade it back to the downside here. What I don't like to see is how the candles are just jumbled together. In my opinion, it kind of looks kind of like how the SPY was trading, which gave you the little wicks at the top like that. That means we got some sellers and some buyers. At the bottom we have buyers, at the top we have the sellers, and they were just having an interesting day today. I guess because of the way the market sold off, nobody is really sure what's going on with the market. So yeah, if you traded Tesla today and was able to be in profit, I say congratulations. That was awesome. But again, in my opinion, it just went like sideways a lot for Tesla. Tesla normally runs and normally had, exceed its ATR for the day. So that was interesting. NVDA, let's see where we are with that. Yes, NVIDIA was a nice trade today. It seems as if we came down off of this. We were declining pre-market. This 134.02 area is my ORB low, opening range breakout, which is again the first 15 minutes of the day. It seems like it gave us, we came bounced off of that. Well, I like to see this 5 and 50 cross again at this 5-minute chart, and the MACD starts separating. So we could have entered this trade, let's say, after it broke through this area, and could have traded it for a scalp back to the upside. It came down, found support again here, and it seemed like it moved sideways just a little bit, only to break out of that. We got back above the 5 EMA a little bit. I don't like to see the MACD lines that close together, so I don't think I will be in this portion of the trade, because that's just what I like to see, what I don't like to see. Let me say it that way. So as of now, we are above the 5 EMA, so I like to see that. So back to the upside. So if you're able to withstand this portion of it, you could have very well stayed in the trade. We didn't have a signal back to the downside. We were holding on support, which was around this area here that we have marked at 137.46. It seems like we were holding support in this area only to continue moving to the upside. So if you would have entered the trade around this, let's say 135.67, and stayed in it to the 140.27 for NVIDIA, that would have been a decent trade. It's just this portion of here, I'm not quite sure I would have wanted to stay in that. But again, with trading, it's coming up with a strategy that works best for you if you're able to do that. Let me say it that way. So NVIDIA was interesting today. Again, the high was 140.27. It looks as if, again, it too wanted to sell off towards the end of the day. I guess there's so much uncertainty in the market as to what's really going on with the market, and we have one more trading session before the end of the year, so that's going to be interesting. And market is closed on Wednesday. So if you traded NVIDIA today, I say congratulations, y'all. Congratulations. And if you didn't have a decent day today, it's okay. You have to think about the things that you did wrong. I always try to go back and do a recap as to the mistakes that I've made. I found some mistakes that I made today, and I'm like, I know better. I should have I shouldn't have made those mistakes, but I was able to recover from that, which I'm grateful for. But when you have a different day like that, journal, write down the things that you did wrong, the things that you experienced, the things that you saw, the things that you should have done or could have done differently in the trade, so that you can go back and reflect on those things, so that it can help you during your trading journey. So yeah, y'all, I hope this video is very, very helpful. Again, this is some of the things that I see when I look at the market. Again, I always like to go back and look at the mistakes that I've made and the things that, I could have done differently. And I always say we learn and we grow together, right? So if you could please like, share, comment, subscribe, all of that good stuff, y'all. I hope that everyone had a very profitable and a very, very productive day. So until next time, be blessed as well as a blessing unto others.